another great night to be a Terp here in College Park as we bring you all yet another Terps Esports broadcast. My name is Ives.
And my name is Kevin. It's a great night indeed, Ives. Welcome back from fall break for some Terps Premier League of Legends action tonight.
That's right, Kevin. We've got a lot to cover in our pre-show, including a quick review of how the game works, as well as an interview with our team support player, Viet Mike.
But before we get into the action, let's go over the rules of your typical League of Legends tournament match. If you've never played the game before, League is a multiplayer online battle arena, also known as a MOBA. 5 players on each team battle it out on Summoner's Rift. There's monsters in the jungle, minions in the lanes, and turrets to be destroyed. Victory is achieved upon destroying the opposing team's nexus.
For this league match, the Terps are competing in a best-of-3 regular season match against RIT Orange, who are currently 5-0 this season.
And our Terps Premier is 4-1 in their season currently, seeded as the second seed against RIT's first. So this is truly a battle against the best of the best.
So now that you know who we're facing and what's at stake, it's time for us to introduce you to the players of the Terps Premier League of Legends team. You know, before this, we were talking about movies, but, you know, we can't talk about that anymore. But with this cast of characters, I think tonight is going to be cinema.
Absolute cinema, some would say. Our support, Viet Mike, who is also going to be interviewed later, is the captains of the Terps Premier team, leading the team to a strong 4-1 standing so far this season. So let's see if they can seize the first seed against RIT Orange.
For our AD carry, we have Lyrex. AD carries become a point of contention as players have found it harder to run it down and one-tap the opposing team after buffs and nerfs have shifted the meta. But this has not stopped him from being a beast in lane and team fights, isolating and eliminating the competition.
And Neko Nanchan in the mid lane received his IGM from his sisters. So let's see if we can see that strong control mage laning, similar to Chovy currently at Worlds. So let's see if he'll pop out some explosive plays alongside that strong laning.
In our jungle, we have Pika, a Jarvan 4 aficionado. He's sorely disappointed about his current performance at Worlds right now. Hopefully, we don't see him locked out at Champion tonight.
And our top lane, Bread, with an unusual champion pool and an even more unusual playstyle. You never know, he might go 5-0 in lane or 0-5. But one thing is for sure, he makes a mean banana bread, as his name should suggest.
And for our interview tonight, as we were talking about in support, we have Viet Mike. Coming into this game tonight, his KDA is at over 7, and he has an incredible kill participation of 72%. And speaking of him, he's sitting down right now next to me for a quick pre-match interview.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, how about you?
I'm pretty good myself. You know, as we were talking about kind of in before you got here, we were talking about Worlds a little bit, you know, Jarvan for, you know, Chovy in the mid lane. As you know, what's going on right now, we're seeing some like unusual picks come out for support players. Like, I think support Poppy is like has a 100% win rate in like 3 matches right now.
Right.
Like, what's your opinion on that? Or like, do you have any unusual picks yourself that you'd like to play?
So, you know, typically Poppy is a very good support right now. My coaches wanted me to play it, but I don't really listen to the traditional rules like that. So, you know, my favorite support champion that I actually tried out for the team is Teemo Support, and I'm not even joking. That was my tryout, and I did not make the team when I picked Teemo Support, but that's okay. So that's my answer to that.
Oh my god. Yeah, you know, that'd be fun to see. Maybe one time.
Maybe never, probably.
You know, as a support player myself, I like see a lot of you know, I play a lot of unusual characters myself. One of those is Yuumi. You know, I've climbed the rankings as a Yuumi player. And in your opinion, is Yuumi goated?
I think Yuumi was goated when you could build Dawncore and just stack a bunch of those stats, but I'm sorry, it's not as good as Teemo Support, to be honest. It doesn't offer a lot to the team.
You know, that's unfortunate to hear.
Mm-hmm. Maybe in the future.
Yeah. You know, who's your pick to win Worlds?
I think I had to go with the NA FlyQuest. I think they stand a good chance. It looks good.
No.
Thank you.
Hate
I have to say that.
Hate FlyQuest. I'm a 100 Thieves fan myself. Unfortunately, they're playing against T1 next, so...
That's okay. T1's been chopped lately.
That's what I'm saying. I've been talking about that.
They haven't been performing so well.
Faker's washed. They can do it. I believe in them. You know, how do you balance, like, your league grinding, your your practice, and like your social and school life?
Right. So I've been on the team for about a year now, and I've had challenges with all of this. But I really like to keep an organized schedule and balance it out. Just, if I'm some weeks I can do maybe a little bit less, 99% on a certain activity like league, and the next week I can pick it up by putting in 101%.
Oh, awesome.
Something
And
like
my
that.
last question for you is like, if you could change anything about like support meta currently, like what would you change? Would it be something to make it Teemo support more viable, or?
If I had to be honest, this is kind of ironic, but I feel like we should lean towards more traditional supports. So I remember there was a phase where you'd pick like AP supports, like Xerath support. I think we should lean more of that way and focus more on the traditional, like supporting your teammates. But I think right now is pretty good. Maybe enhance enchanters a little bit more. I'd say that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. That's going to conclude our pre-show for League of Legends tonight. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Shout out to Tyler.
I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together. Everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
Terp Adventures take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform, find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete. Play. With wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the center for campus life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
Welcome back. How are you feeling, Ives?
Good enough. That pre-match interview was awesome. I think, just great to get into the mind of our support player as we're gonna head into this match. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, after hearing Timo support, now I'm looking forward to it all season. If we see a Timo hover, I'm gonna start getting excited. But let's see how the draft is going to look. As we said previously, Jarvan at Worlds right now 1-9. So let's see if our Terps decide to draft, a Jarvan. It's a good character, I believe, but it's like just being played bad. Right now we see the Terps band come out, Belveth, Viego, Yunara, and RIT coming out with Urgot, Oriana, and Zaya.
Yeah, I know Yunara is incredibly strong right now, having a great performance. RIT banning that Urgot, I think they're trying to cancel out some of Bread's, unusual picks. I think currently when he was in the studio, he was talking to some of his teammates. Allegedly, he has a 90% win rate on that character right now in competitive, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strong champ. It's a personal pick. I would assume that Belveth and Viego, currently not in meta, would be like a target ban against Bread. Against RT's jungler, but they pick a Wukong, which is also very strong in Worlds right now. Nefiri, I believe, only having 3 matches at World, 1 and 2 currently. It's a strong pick. We've seen Pika come out with it. Usually it's paired with an Oriana, but we see a Azir come out for Neko. I believe this is his first time playing Azir in the studio, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I know Azir is commonly banned. I think he's very strong, is he not?
Yeah, it's very strong control mage. He was nerfed recently, but it's definitely a priority pick. Being able to have a strong laning phase, and you see those crazy shove plays. Oh my god, Faker, what was that?
Yeah, right now we're seeing a Kaisa, Morgana, possibly in a mid lane, possibly support. As we were talking about in that pre-match interview, those damage supports, Morgana being one of those. We're seeing a switch to Galio, actually, so...
yeah, the Galio champion, I feel like personally is really broken. Especially into AP laners. You just basically go even in lane no matter what, because you can't get shredded down in that 1v1 matchup. You just have to give up on that lane, and jungler has to focus elsewhere. That Kaisa pick is a good hyper carry to go into all the CC that RIT is building up. Galio just very strong with that W, that shroud. His ultimate global, he can reach anywhere to engage on a team fight, maybe take advantage on a 4-on-3 fight in the bot lane. And we see a Swain getting locked in on the side of Terps.
Yeah, I haven't seen Swain a lot. I'm not sure how he, fits in totality among all the league characters. I know he's usually kind of picked as like a support-ish or like an AP carry. I'm not sure who he's going to be for the Terps tonight.
Yeah, and we see Terps not banning a champion, with RT seeming to hover over Braum, focusing on support. So maybe they're thinking this Swain isn't going support like you said, Ives. Maybe it's going top. One of those unusual picks coming out from Bread. Ban for, Braum would certainly indicate RIT don't think this Swain is going support. No indicators of what Terps is thinking right now, as they didn't use their first ban.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's surprising. I think a few times we've seen them in that fourth ban when it comes up, pick none, and then eventually it turns out that it actually was a ban, and they're talking it out with the other team right now. So possibly we'll catch word that that has changed. We're seeing a Hui ban come out. That's a very strong mid laner. I think if that Galio is going to be mid, I'm not sure what that ban would be.
I think Terps coach might be suspecting that this Galio, if they think Swain is going top, this Galio is going to be flexed into that top role. We've seen the likes of Zeus, the likes of Keen play that Galio top. It's a nice flex. It can also be flexed into the support role also, but that's pretty unpopular right now. So we gotta see for the last 2 picks from Terps. They have their bot lane most likely coming up. Let's see if they're gonna first pick ADC or support. But all of the support champions from RIT are banned out right now. Poppy, Braum, banned out. So are we gonna look towards more of a enchanter first pick? Just take that blind first pick. Renata coming out from the side of Terps. That enchanter, just going blind to whatever RIT's bot lane might be. Alistar is pretty good with Kaisa. Nautilus is just a good engaged champion. There's a lot of engaged champions you can go into Kaisa and then just have that strong tanking frontline for her. But I believe we were looking over via Mike's stats earlier. I saw that he had a 70% win rate on Renata, so, at least in ranked. So I want to see how well he does on that Renata.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting word that none ban from the side of Terps was Milio, possibly catching those support picks that were out there, much like RIT. We're seeing that Nautilus locking come out. I think Nautilus is a bit unusual. He is an engaged support that you see, but I think besides just taking a lot of hits and having like some CC, doesn't really do much else. He can't really, he's good in lane if you're playing against an enchanter like Renata Glass to kind of start those fights, but other than that, I feel like he's very weak overall.
I'm thoroughly confused with the Terps draft right now. They picked Olaf Lass. Who is going to be the ADC for Terps? From the looks of it, Swain is going to be the ADC on the side of Terps. Are they coming out with a unusual a counter meta read, something off the books? This Swain Renata, maybe secretly they've been practicing this and it's broken.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't think I've ever seen this before.
They're workshopping. They've discovered something new. Maybe we have someone watching this, and they're gonna see what they're gonna be like, whoa, the Terps really pulled off this insane comp, and we have to try that right now. Someone in China right now, possibly Faker, is gonna be like, whoa, this is insane. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I have to try this out.
Yeah, we gotta see what our Terps players are thinking. They're locked in. They're listening to their coach right now, getting that pre-game discussion. And so, yeah, I'm wondering what this Swain pick is going to be. This is interesting. This is exciting. This is what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, and the Dr. Mundo pick coming out. We've seen this from Dr. Patient from the Academy team. It's a strong side laning tank. Basically unkillable, but he takes all of your turrets. It's a strong pick, most notably played by streamer Elios, I believe. So I just want to see how these champions are going to move into the game. It's definitely not common compared to Worlds. So speaking of Worlds, you said your team to pick for Worlds win is 100 Thieves?
I mean, it's for a Worlds win might be different. They are my personal favorite team. I think I originally gravitated to them because I like the team colors of 100 Thieves. Red is a favorite color of mine. I was also a fan of Sentinels in Valorant. So I really like red. Then I also like 100 Thieves is an NA team. They're kind of plucky underdogs, which I think is admirable. They beat BLG. That's their only win right now. They're currently 1-2, and their next match they're playing against T1, and it's just I'm praying for them essentially.
I mean, I heard you slandering Faker earlier. How do you think he's going to? 100 Thieves is gonna hold up against T1. How do you think Quid is going to hold up against T1 Faker? Hall of Legends first inductee.
Well, I think he has what it takes. Faker, he's been at Worlds so many times, and he's been so.
Maybe he's
so
got tired
old.
of it.
Yeah, he's so old. He's so washed, I guess. He's such a big name. 29 is washed in terms of esports. I think for some reason, people just think, oh, you're just gonna fall off. You hit 25, and like you're just like, oh, just retire, Unk. But I think Faker definitely his performance is, not the stuff of legends that people have been talking about. People on T1 have definitely outshined Faker. People just always talk about him, and it's just like, oh, he's the GOAT. If Faker went like 0-10, but T1 won Worlds, like, they would still talk about how awesome Faker is.
I mean, it's impact plays, okay? So let's roll it back on the slander on the GOAT. Let's talk about my personal picks. I usually root for T1, but right now I'm leaning towards more the underdogs right now. My two favorites, AL and Anyone's Legend, and KT Rollstar, they're 3-0. They've already qualified for the knockout bracket. I mean, it's a surprising thing because KT snuck into the top 4 of LCK. Snuck in by beating Genji, by basically scrambling that whole LCK Summoner bracket. And Anyone's Legend, I just love their playstyle. Their hometown, they're constantly fighting on the Rift. They just feel at home playing in Beijing, Shanghai, and all these different cities in China. So right now I'm just rooting for my two underdog picks.
I mean, at a certain point, if your underdog picks are currently 3-0 and are the only people to have qualified for the elimination bracket, I mean, at what point do they not become underdogs? Do you think I mean, I'll give it to you, they were underdogs coming into this. They qualified 3-0. If they go undefeated, they make it to quarterfinals or something like that, when do they stop becoming underdogs? And when do they just become I guess they deserve to be there essentially?
I think they become overdogs once they both reach the finals. I will never stop believing in KT Rollstar and Anyone's Legend. Even with all the slander I've been hearing about KT's top laner Perfect, he might not be the most consistent top laner, but I believe in BDD in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Speaking of surprising teams at Worlds, the new Pacific region that's just been formed, the show out team from that region is CFO. Do you have any opinions on that breakout super team of the region?
I mean, not really. I mean, my League of Legends opinions are very NA centric because I really like how NA plays despite essentially, I think Riot Games is working against the NA scene by implementing changes that reduce the variability of your early game and things like that. I think NA is known for their unusual plays, and then if you do your unusual plays too many times and people can't counter it, Riot Games eventually goes, okay, well, you can't do that anymore, and we've now issued an update where you can't do it anymore. Lane swapping, they've change that. You now, if you're a support player, you just spawn in with World Atlas and you don't get to have that. Only one person can have Smite on your team now. It's things like that make it unusual, kind of fun. I mean, I guess you could say that it's kind of a gimmick, but when NA competition is so I guess behind in terms of that Asian European kind of competition, where there so many people so close together and you have all this talent competing against each other, just improving each other, and then in NA you just have the East and the West Coast and they're so far apart, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard rooting for NA sometimes, even being a local Marylander, local NAer, but I think I do want to see that variance that NA is known for. I do want to see a lot of wacky picks. I do have to say, it's become stagnant recently with control mages taking over in the mid lane, tanks in the top lane. I want to see random goofy picks like the Swain bot lane. These things need to happen more often. I think NA's been known for that. But I I do have to say NA does have a lot of catching up to do mechanically and strategically. Maybe their scouting is not the best. Maybe they have a different meta read that is usually off. But I know Korea and China always have these central champions that they always play. Azir is almost never out of meta. Azir is always in that mid lane. Orianna, always a favorite pick. So we got to see what happens. I'm definitely rooting for NA to make a breakout run, hopefully to the knockout bracket.
Yeah, one can hope. But as we talk about all this Worlds, I am getting word that we're getting a bit of a delay as we get into this match soon. So we might go to a quick commercial break. Hopefully we get that situated, get that started. But we'll be right back after just a quick commercial break.
We'll see you soon.
I'm Greg, also known as Sind, and I'm an initiator player for the Valorant Premier Team.
I'm Kazu, and I go by NJV, and I'm the coach for the team.
I'm Richard, and I go by Pickle Richard, and I'm the duelist player.
Pretty fun. I definitely liked all the guys I was playing with. It's fun to get in the server with them. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge balancing it with other things, but
yeah,
it's definitely something that I enjoy doing a lot.
Yeah, making all the friends that we made through this team, so it really makes me happy. So it's really awesome that we did this.
Yeah, I think I had really fun times on this team. I played well every single game.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment was map 5. I think that was a really fun match.
The grand finals.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
the
was
grand
fun.
final. Yeah.
Remember what map it was?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was Sunset. Yeah,
Sunset.
Yeah.
And you played Raze.
Yeah, I played Raze.
Yeah, no, that map was really intense. It was super, super hard. The pressure was definitely on. It was super late at night. It was midnight or
It
something.
was very late. It was
1 a.m. or
my favorite one was probably the first match of the season.
Oh yeah.
First time in the studio together.
Oh, in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. It
That
was
fun.
fun seeing all the Academy boys in the studio. So that was sick. Yeah.
My personal goal is I think I'm gonna try to hit Radiant this season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely to win Big Ten right now, and then place top 8 in CVAL. That's our goal.
Top 8 CVAL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Ten is definitely the thing I'm most interested in seeing.
Mhm.
I'm not flying out, but hopefully, or the boys do well over
Hopefully
it.
we win.
Where is it?
I-
OSU? Ohio
Yeah,
State?
in Ohio.
Ohio.
I promise at least second place.
At least
At least
second place? I think we can win it.
I think we can win it too.
I think we can.
We gotta
win
be
Big Ten.
humble.
Everyone, yeah, we just we can't get complacent.
Can't get
Yeah.
complacent. Never that.
That's a good one.
Go ahead.
Honestly, unironically, I think Kazu is a very fun person to have in the program as an emotional leader. Even though he doesn't always, sometimes things can get a little disorganized with Kazu at the helm.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
For as much flack as we give him for being terrible at the game, he's actually
Yeah, if you watch our
He's
games
actually a very
while I play, you'll be surprised. I hear House is guy my coach a lot.
Yeah.
A weird amount of times.
But I think Kazu's a great addition for him. I love that.
Yeah, I love
He's
how
great.
You love Valorant.
he's very wholesome.
He is very awesome.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
He's radiant. Remember that.
I'm ready to remember that.
Yeah, and his timeouts have improved a lot too. As someone who's seen him coach over the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, I
Your
coached him
old
for a while.
timeouts were.
Yeah, that was when I was
great.
a little baby boy coach.
Yeah, but now he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
I really like having him as coach.
Thank you, Gregory. Wow, this is great. You should do this more often.
That's the most praise you've ever heard.
He got an ego boost for free today.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Welcome back, guys. So, what are you looking forward to in this game coming up right now?
Really, I'm just looking forward to seeing how that Swain performs. I think, his team fight is really good, and they're possibly building for that. His ultimate will just stay active as long as there are, enemies near him. So once you enter in that team fight, you pop that ultimate and you just exist as, a nuisance to bother the enemy. As you were saying, is very unusual. Like, we're seeing some, like, kind of standard picks, like that Azir in the mid lane. Maybe not getting too crazy with our picks here. You don't want, something too unusual. You need someone to be, like, your rock, I guess. If it's not performing as well as you want to, that Swain Renata Glass bot lane, you still have that mid lane. You have that Nefarian jungle.
Pick, yeah.
Yeah. It's just going to be interesting, especially because, like, RIT has this really, like, I guess, traditional composition. Like, as we were talking about, like, NA, known for their unusual stuff. It's going to see how it's going to perform. The Terps, we're not on the world stage. We're playing in, our season as college students, as a college. So, if we can't do it, then why would the people on the world stage even try?
Yeah, well, if the Swain performs, I mean, right now looking at it, it seems like it's going into a good competition. Like you said, that demonic extension from Swain is going to be really good at keeping him alive, keeping him as a nuisance in that close range comp that RIT is building. So maybe if this works in that 100 Thieves T1 match, we'll see Guma Yusi pull out Swain. Maybe we'll see maybe 100 Thieves pull out that Swain. But I do want to, like, look for those, like, wacky picks, those champions that haven't played before. Like, maybe a Briar comes out in the jungle or in the top lane. You never know.
Briar, I think Briar is interesting, I guess.
I mean, it's the run it down character, so I'm looking forward to it. Now we're hopping into the Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start out here. We're gonna see, I think, the Terps usually go for that standard, 5-man spread to watch for jungle invades. I don't think we've ever seen them really get invaded on the Rift, but better safe than sorry, I guess. RIT is going to respond in kind, but,
Yeah, right now looking at summoner spells, we see both supports opting for Ignite with, the summoners, with the spellbook rune coming out for via Mike for that flexibility of changing into any other support summoner spell. It looks like they're trying to get proactive early on both sides of the bot lane. And right now we see a ghost flash coming out for Galio in the mid lane. There's going to be a TP advantage on the side of Terps, but let's see if they're going to, use that TP advantage actively on objectives, or if this, like, Galio, ghost is going to really, like, take over the game somehow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we were talking in the draft, Galio is just like a super tank. He's just going to, go even in lane. I think, RIT's prediction is, like, no matter how much damage they take, that Galio is just still going to be there in the lane, so they won't have to TP as much.
And here we see that early poke damage coming out for the Swain. I mean, it's looking not too bad right now, but we can't speak too early until we get further into the game. I mean, I really do hope this wacky pick does pan out well. I mean, they have the lane dominance right now. I mean, that E is just very annoying coming out from the Swain.
Yeah, super, super annoying because it'll pass through, one minion before, like, you have to hit 2 of them for it to stop. Really messes up your trading stance to, shield yourself from some of that poke.
Yeah, level 2 coming up for the side of Terps early on. I mean, they're going to crash this big wave. They're just keeping control of, like, lane right now. It's not as perfect as they want, but they're definitely taking control of this bot lane state, and we see both junglers walking towards that bot lane right now. We'll hopefully see some proactivity on the side of Terps, and an early engage coming out from Galio, taking a strong trade against Neko on Azir. I mean, Azir recently was nerfed with his W damage early on. I mean, not being able to keep his lane dominance early.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that trade is going to really put them on the back foot there. It's just like Galio, is meant to take damage, and he just didn't there in that fight. So, with such low health, you're gonna try and stay under tower, maybe hope your jungler comes in to assist you to get him off there. But right now it's just like off to a great start in the mid lane for RIT compared to that bot lane performance that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting to see these different playstyles coming out. It's rather quiet in the top lane. So I want to see how this first Drake's gonna go. I want to see how this first Grub's gonna go. Those turning points, like you said, lane swaps. Are they going to come out? And we see early engage coming out from Olaf on the side of Terps. Bread is taking proactivity on Daigon. First blood over to Terps and to Bread. I mean, he just clicked Ghost and ran it down, and Daigon couldn't really do anything on that Mundo.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like great, as you were talking about, like not much was going on in that top lane until that big fight came out. We're seeing, a TP for TP come out there. And right now we're seeing, kind of some poke under tower here. That Kaisa is going to get down to like a quarter of their health. It's just, dominance, I guess. That Nautilus is going to try and engage, but Kaisa is too low to try and step in and help, and that's just like a negative trade there.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's a questionable trade. Jungle's not hovering bot side, and I mean, the side of RIT, the ADC was trying to back up. So, I mean, right now, it's just such a dominant performance for this lane. I mean, I'm looking forward to how the end game and mid game is going to start to look for the Swain, but early game right now, it's definitely a dominating performance. I mean, that Kaisa Nautilus bot lane seems like they can't touch the wave, they can't touch Swain at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're probably going to have to, on their way back to this lane, just talk about what they're going to have to do. The Terps are going to back right now with RIT, and they're going to be able to get their weapons because, at this point they just have more CS. Yeah, you're seeing that 29 versus 42. Kaisa is at an extreme disadvantage here, and Swain has that TP. He's back to lane instantly. Kaisa is there, possibly might take this engage while Nautilus is walking back. And right now we're just having to see Pika come out to assist the mid lane to stop that Galio from getting any plates on tower.
Yeah, I do have to say, have I enacted the caster curse onto Neko in the mid lane? I said he's very reliable, a strong control mage in the mid lane, akin to Chovy, but it's like he's not performing at his usual pace against this Galio. It's definitely a hard matchup, but maybe you have to question, is this a Zir pick? Perhaps like not as strong as we thought it would be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you mentioned, it's the first time we're seeing Neko pick a Zir in the studio at least, so maybe it's just something that he's not as experienced on, and is just picking it because it is just a good overall pick to have, possibly at a disadvantage to him.
Yeah, right now we see Wukong going up into the top lane. It is warded by Bread though, so it seems like RT are just going to confer that first Drake over to the side of Terps. It's going to be free for them. Wukong currently walking into the top jungle of Terps. Maybe they're looking for an active play, just stealing some buffs, but I mean, it looks like they're getting active in the bot lane with Ignite coming out on the side of RT. Swain getting to 1/3 of his health. I mean, that was a fast engage. We didn't quite catch all of it, but it's certainly the strong suit of that Nautilus Kaisa, being able to do that burst damage, being able to just like engage in an instance once that hook lands. But that poke coming out from the side of Terps.
Yeah, for sure. I think RIT has definitely come back in this bot lane, at least in their ability to take those trades. They were struggling a lot in that early engage. Olaf is going to walk down Dr. Mundo here. At this point, can't do much. He's having to walk under tower, get pushed off this wave. Going to probably try and crash it into tower here to, secure a back to buy those items, or possibly take those grubs there. It's warded right now.
Yeah, that top lane performance is looking strong on the side of Bread. He might be not down a little on CS, but he's definitely performing extremely well. He's taking control of the lane. He's up on XP. And a fight for Grubby's breakout. Pika getting caught by Wukong and Galio. It's just a kill going over to the side of RIT. You know, the bot lane for Terps is coming up, hovering. Olaf coming down. I mean, it seems like a 3-on-3 engage right now. It's looking like a mess. Olaf 1 HP. The Swain is dominating this team fight. He hasn't been touched yet. That demonic ascension is just taking over the rift. But we have Killer Instinct coming in from Kaisa. It looks like just a mess right now, and Swain gets caught on grubs. The stream went out for a bit, but that was a messy fight coming out from our Terps. It was a interesting performance. After Pika got caught, we saw you know, bot lane trying to help. They were on that timing. They were just, you know, seconds off of helping Pika. We saw Olaf coming down. I thought they were going to win that engage, but somehow they got collapsed upon by all 5 members of RIT, and now they're 3-1 in the match, taking that feat of warfare.
Yeah, definitely. I think RIT was just able to live long enough for the rest of their team to come in. With the Terps, we saw Pika go down first. That's already like your initial wave of people coming in to contest grubs down, and then we saw Swain, Renata Glass go in, and they're just not doing enough damage to eliminate any of the players. RIT got 3 kills for nothing on the side of Terps there. It's just these kind of tankier champions like Galio are just able to live long enough for their team to come in, and this engage is going to come out. Nautilus gets taken out early. Galio's having to back off. He's just going to get CC'd.
He's getting chased by Pika right now, but maybe they're going in too deep. RT is covering that position. Maxander is going in on Wukong, but it seems like just that shallow engage where they were able to catch Nautilus on the side of RT overextending. Like you were saying, Ives, it seems like Terps don't have enough damage right now. Unlike a normal bot laner, a normal ADC, with this ABC swing, you don't have that consistent damage you would expect from your ADC. You have that burst damage.
Yeah, definitely you're just on those cooldowns, and we're seeing 3 people come into this lane right now. Trying to force them off tower. Swain's going to have to use his Demonic Ascension to back up, but, you know, Renata Glass is just going to be caught out, taken out there. That's a kill for RIT.
Yeah, I mean, it's messy gameplay right now. RT are up 1,000 gold, but it's not looking too far gone. It's just some sloppy mistakes that can be cleaned up in the mid-game. It was a great Emperor's Divide by you know, Neko during that team fight to catch Nautilus. So we gotta see more of this team fighting where Swain really thrives in, being able to, you know, capitalize on his ultimate and his sustain.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you're saying, it's just like incredibly messy. I don't think we've seen any like kind of organized 5-on-5 team fight. It's always like this staggered engage, or you're taking like these absurd levels of, you know, essentially like you have nowhere you're gonna lose like fights. RIT is definitely there. I think they understand that this bot lane is kind of, should the Terps like run away with it here, it's gonna be a problem. That Swain has burst damage, but if he gets fed enough, it just becomes like that burst is all your full health bar essentially.
Now we see in the bottom river Neko getting caught out, but nothing comes to fruition on the side of RIT. The strong, you know, duel from Bread and Daigon are, you know, they're just brawling it out in the top lane, while everybody on the bottom side of the map seems to be hovering on this Chemtech Dragon. It's looking like a fight is brewing up with Lyrax nearly getting caught by the Galio W. We'll see who wants to engage first. It seems like Terps is taking the first fighting hand into this fight. I mean, Neko's already down to half HP. It's not looking good on the side of Terps. Exhaust comes out. Hero's Interest comes out from Galio. Yeah, everybody's low. Renata caught out from Galio. It's not looking good for the side of Terps, but Pika, a double kill on Wukong. He's chasing after Kaisa right now. Kaisa, 1 HP. I mean, everybody just 1 HP right now. Galio's still up, Swain's still up. Dying to the bleed, Kaisa just falls. I mean, right now, this Galio has a lot of pressure HP-wise, but it seems like Terps won't try and overtake their position.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, as they were lingering in that jungle a bit, they were probably debating whether or not they thought they could take that Galio in the fight there. They decided against it, which I feel like is probably the good decision there. But as we were seeing there, while that was going on in the top lane, Bread just was proxy farming. He was up at that tier 3, just, you know, taking wave after wave, and, you know, just got away with it. He backed for free. Dr. Mundo couldn't punish him or anything. You know, still behind on farm, unfortunately, but ahead on that kill, and I think definitely technically,
much stronger than Mundo right now.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it looks like in the bot lane, if you look on the minimap, it's going to be a lot the same, like, dance, the same, like, salsa around this Chemtech Dragon with RIT Orange being able to take that vision control on River. So maybe Terps are thinking about just giving this Drake right now.
Yeah, I think what they really want to do essentially at this point, they want to contest every objective because they've already lost that feat of warfare. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get it. You know, this big engage coming out, Demonic Ascension, just so many ults coming out here just to try and contest this after the dragon gets taken.
Everybody's low. Pika getting another kill, engaging onto the Galio, but Kaisa catches them. It seems like they flip the map against each other. Neko's the only one standing from this fight. I don't think he's scaled enough to be able to do any damage in these fights. It's not looking good. Pika's the strong carry with all of the all of the kills right now, all of the damage also, with Bread being the only sole member of Terps having a kill. But he hasn't participated in this top lane fight because of this Dr. Mundo. This Dr. Mundo can take side lanes, and he basically needs to babysit Dr. Mundo and not be able to participate in these team fights.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and that's definitely what we saw there was RIT just kind of forcing into that back line of Terps and taking them out before, like, coming into that front line to engage Neko there. It's you know, the Terps are kind of split right now in those engages. They don't have a concise target to fight there to kind of weed out the RIT players, and as we're seeing right now, RIT is going to take that Rift Herald and secure that feat of Monster Slang and feats, like, in total.
Yeah, right now RIT are running the map. They're just taking control of everything. I mean, Terps aren't far behind, but it seems like they're losing control of their macro this time around. With a big team fight brewing up in mid, Demonic Ascension comes out from Lyrax, shut down on Wukong. Heroic entrance coming on from Galio. Lyrax goes down to Galio. I mean, they're still fighting. Neko getting a lot of good poke. Double kill on Galio, killing Renata. I mean, it just seems like they're getting caught out, like overextending maybe. Neko trying to force something in the mid lane, but I don't think anything's gonna brew up. I mean, this top lane is just the same old story. Bread trays here, Mundo trays there, and then, you know, he just heals back up. It's basically a stagnant lane in the top lane. It's really crazy fights in the bot lane, River, bot lane, in the mid lane right now. I mean, right now we're looking for some stability for Terps hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I think that early kill for, you know, Swain was great, but as you were saying, yeah, Mike was just caught out as Renata Glass. I think overextending, no one else on the Terps after Swain goes down wanted to engage there.
We see
so it's just
Ragnarok
unfortunate.
coming out from Bread, having to burn it on the gank. I mean, I think that was the first gank on top lane so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think, maybe they're getting sick and tired of someone babysitting that Dr. Mundo, trying to just, like, force him off of that. But, the Terps are going to steal that red buff from RIT. And as we just saw there, that tower damage for Dr. Mundo, it just got obliterated, essentially. I think that's the first time he's even, like, touched it, essentially.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. I mean, Terps are down a 2k gold lead to RIT, but it's not looking too bad game state-wise. They just need one good objective, one good team fight to come in for them. I mean, hopefully they can do this on Dragon soon, that mountain dragon coming up, or maybe they're gonna look for that random engage that they've been doing around the map.
Yeah, for sure. I think right now, like, we're seeing them set up. They're taking Scuttle here. They're getting that vision. They have wards placed all around RIT's jungle to watch for that movement. And right now we're just seeing, like, some trade going on in the bot lane. People have shifted. We're taking that engage, some poke onto that Wukong there in the jungle. But nothing too substantial. They're kind of gearing up. They're grouping. This Wukong is going to take the first
Cyclone
engage.
coming out from Wukong. Galio in the middle of the fight. I mean, you see Renata Glasses will come out. Demonic Ascension from Lyrax is Swain, but Galio flashes to chase. Kill on Galio. And Viet Mike falls. Neko falls. I mean, Pika's the only one alive. Can he 1v4 this? He's getting low. He gets another hit in, but that was just a clean engage due to the vision difference for RIT. I mean, that Galio went in with his W, that Wukong went in with his ultimate Cyclone, and it was basically rafts for Lyrax at the start of the fight, and it was over after that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like the Terps really wanted to take out that Wukong there, but he was in his own jungle, and I think they underestimated the amount of people that were there at the time. And also the fact that Wukong just wanted to take that fight. He stepped in first instead of allowing them to, like, kind of poke him out and take that engage. And the Terps just kind of scattered, maybe a bit surprised by that, and that allowed Galio to come in and, just chase down the backline, people that were already low, and, can't do much damage to him there.
Yeah, I gotta say, this Galio is looking like an Omega pick coming out from RT. I mean, it's just affecting the games in ways you just can't see, and via Mike getting a bit overconfident stepping into RT's jungle and is being caught out by Wukong. I mean, right now it seems like Terps are just gonna keep on bleeding. They're almost at a 5k gold deficit compared to RIT. So Ives, what do you think Terps should do right now to turn this game back in their favor?
I mean, I think we saw an inkling of what the Terps wanted to do to get back in that game. I think they're trying to be, like, sort of sneaky with stealing, farm, like that jungle farm. But as you said, like, they just don't have that vision to take that, and they're way behind. I think it's just you have to play, like, very tight. The Terps are very loose right now. As we're seeing this engage come out, it's gonna be, a 4-on-3 essentially. That Galio ult is gonna come out, but it's, not enough. The Terps are, for the first time putting RIT on the back foot, and they're just gonna have to step off this engage.
Yeah, well, I saw that heroic entrance coming in from Galio, but Nautilus was caught out first, and then a shutdown on Galio by the likes of Lyrax was, they played their position perfectly. It was like a strong front to back. They didn't get caught out by the strong crowd control. So if we can see replication of that throughout this game, Terps aren't out of the game right now. They might be down, but they're not out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think, taking the engage around that tower was, super important. You can't, like, just raw fight them at this point. You have to play around what you have and what you can do. Neko taking over after that tower got demolished, putting up another structure for them to play around. was definitely important. As I was saying, like the Terps just have to play tight, and I think they did that pretty well there. It kind of left RIT reeling. Ultimates were coming out when like people were already low, and that Galio ult just essentially secured the kill for them because he was ulting in at like a fraction of his health, and then just getting eliminated. It's great to see, possibly, some foreshadowing for a turnaround, hopefully. But, we're going to have to see more plays like that.
Yeah, certainly. Standout players on the side of RT right now are Wukong, Max Anders Wukong, and Bunny's Kaisa right now, currently really strong. KDA and gold-wise, 6-1 for Kaisa, 5-2 for Wukong. But on the side of Terps, you can't doubt Pika right now. This is his standout character. That Nefiri is 6-3 and has been doing all of the cleanup work in these team fights. And you gotta love it when you see, 2 kills on Lyrax. He's starting to ramp up, hopefully, starting to get more damage on his character.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Nefiri is, great for kind of eliminating those low health players when they're trying to, back away from a team fight. And
Cyclone coming out from Wukong, and we see Ragnarok coming out from Olaf. Lyrax already caught out, and it seems like RT are just hovering around this mid lane. They caught Lyrax on the blind side where he was converged on in the mid lane. I mean, that was just a vision diff, quite frankly, Ives.
Yeah, definitely, and they're still chasing. Olaf is gonna get, chased by this Wukong and Galio.
Emperor's Divide comes out. Wukong still, Olaf still goes down. Renata goes down, and Neko's trying to make the best of it. But he can't do any damage in that position. Pika goes down, and it's gonna be an ace on the side of RIT. It just. That's how the cookie crumbles. RIT catches one member of Terps, and the rest of them can't do anything.
Yeah, definitely what I feel like they didn't expect was for RIT to re-engage in their jungle. They kind of backed off the mid lane and were just like, okay, I'll just move like path to bot perhaps, or like stay in the jungle, wait for camps to respawn, something like that. But RIT just said, okay, we have the man advantage, let's just take this, and they just kind of They isolated, the team was split up, and I think that's really, you can't do that when you're all so weak comparatively to the rest of the team. You really have to play together to win fights, and the Terps just didn't do that there.
Yeah, I like the confidence coming out from the Terps, but Via Mike caught out, trying to ward the river for Baron. Caught out in that top river. I like the confidence the Terps are carrying themselves with, but you gotta question, should they be thinking more methodically? Should they be hesitating, giving a second thought to their actions, as Pika getting caught out from Nautilus right now, Kaisa going in. It's a good chunk on Pika, but they're just RT are just holding control of that top jungle, trying to maybe force a Baron soon enough. And Galio gets a kill on Pika. It's a free Baron going to RT now. They're just misplaying these. It seems like they're breaking up a little from their usual, composed selves. Terps are, down soul point. They're gonna be down Baron soon enough. It's looking dire, Ives. I can't say anything.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Terps are still trying to play as if it's an even match. They're doing things that, would be expected of you if you were even or ahead, getting vision for Baron, just kind of wandering in your jungle. But when you don't have that vision, you're so far behind, you can't do that. You have to essentially stop and think and be like, okay, Baron is up, I'm trying to get vision, but at this point, I'll just get essentially one tapped if I'm out there. I need someone with me if I want to get vision. I have to play, safe to, possibly just ward my own jungle to watch for that. And that's just not happening. They're playing as if oh, I can just do what I want. I can take this space because I can just get out of there if the need, happens for but you just can't do that at this point.
Yeah.
When you're almost 10k gold behind, and your vision is just kind of lacking, you have no idea where these players are, you can't just do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing with a lot of swagger right now. I mean, I love it, but Lyra's getting caught out again. Demonic Ascension, Death Charge coming out. Olaf popping Ragnarok, going in. Heroic Entrance coming out from Galio. The Emperor's Divide goes big. Shutdown on Wukong. It's a shutdown on, kill on Azir, and it's just a whole mess in the mid lane. Everybody goes down besides Viet Mike on the side of Terps. Flash comes out, and this Mundo is just pushing. I mean, it was looking good there for Terps, but they lost their footing, and it seems like it's going to be an easy end for the side of RIT. That Mundo just does so much damage on those turrets, and Kai'Sa's still up, Galio's still up. They do humongous damage. They couldn't focus the damage carries, the really strong attackers on RIT, and that's how this first match is going to end.
Definitely. I mean, when you're that far ahead, everyone just becomes a high damage dealer. So there's not really anyone like you're going to be able to focus, essentially. It's unfortunate to see for the first match, but maybe we're getting some of that, unusual picks out of the way, those jitters out of the way. Hopefully we'll see, possibly a return to form, a return to, kind of safer picks, things that are like bread and butter for the Terps. That Swain was definitely unusual. We saw like an early kind of lead in the bot lane there, but everything just kind of fell apart when you eventually get to those team fights, and like in those early ones where like you possibly have an even fighting chance, and the Terps are just like so disorganized and like kind of scattered, and like you lose those in such incredible ways, like 3-0, things like that. You just let RIT snowball, and then, when compared to like your unusual team comp and like you can't really play how you want to, you like just lose when you're that far behind.
Yeah, certainly. It seems like when Terps were down, they tried to force stuff. I mean, I love that proactivity, but it seems like they were trying too much at times, maybe trying to like play with this like confidence, the swagger. Maybe they're underestimating RIT. Viet Mike got caught out so many times just trying to ward something. I mean, RIT looks so composed and like such a collective unit that Terps maybe don't know how to organize themselves in this first match. But hopefully we can see maybe, like you said, those unusual picks go to standard normal bot lane picks, and maybe some more comfort picks on the side of like the mid laner Neko. Maybe we can see that Orianna come out. I know Yone, he played a lot of Yone, but even though it might not be a meta, he maybe just drafted it for comfort. I mean, Bread, one of the standout players, usually being able to do a lot of impact in the games, was basically isolated in the top lane, basically just put there to babysit, and he was basically a passenger in that whole game.
Yeah, definitely. And, when you're forced to babysit a Dr. Mundo, you're going to have to hope that your team has the ability to, do their best without you. And unfortunately, they weren't capable of doing that. They just kind of lost those team fights, let other people get really fed. Dr. Mundo, by his nature, is just capable of, going even in your lane, destroying your towers, getting fed by himself. He doesn't even need to be in those team fights. So it was just everyone on RIT got fed while everyone on the side of Terps was just kind of, weak, and that's unfortunate to see. I mean, I have a lot of hopes for what the next match is going to be, and hope that everyone watching stays tuned as we head into a quick commercial break as we wait for this next match.
Yeah, hopefully it will turn around. See you soon.
My name is Subin Kim, my in-game name is Carrots, and I'm the controller of this team.
My name is Hannah, my IGN is Tuxedo Sam, and I play Sentinel for the team.
My name is Sima, my in-game name is Care Bear, and I'm a Flex.
My name is Megan, my IGN is Giraffe, and I'm an Initiator.
My name is Sophia. My IGN is Soap, and I'm an initiator.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayush. My in-game name is Dulcexa, and I'm the coach.
For me, I think it was just really interesting to see like our names on like social media and like on a website. I'm just like, whoa, my name is on a website but so I think that was like the number one thing that kind of like just it brought the realization of like what kind of team I'm in, like what kind of position I'm in.
Meeting them. It's like hard to make a woman and non-binary friends in Valorant, so it's just really nice that we have like a team specifically for that.
The studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio. Oh, I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that existed until like remember like when we first talked about the studio, I was like, what's that? When I first went to the room, I was like, oh, there's cameras and lighting. I'm just like, that's
nice computer.
Nice computer.
So
true.
Winning.
Yeah, winning.
Also true. Delico winning.
Getting into that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I feel
That
like
was pretty cool.
Hey. I would say supportive is definitely like Dusty and Rachel. Those two, just like making sure we had scrims down, making sure we had practice schedules down. Like Dusty making sure like to pick out what we did wrong, just like helping us improve. I think definitely.
Yeah, Dusty's a very present coach. So
Very.
It's like he's really reliable and helped us through the whole season.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, you'd even like schedule things for us,
like organize all those schedules.
help us map bands and like
Stats,
talk to them
yeah.
if like realize if one of them was like unranked or something. Breaking a rule, making teams forfeit.
Hey, we don't talk about that last part.
I would also say like our fans in chat, like on
Oh,
stream.
true.
It was nice knowing
W
people
chat.
watching us.
And the haters.
Oh yeah.
Improve in the higher division.
Yeah, it is definitely more challenging because we're in a higher division now. But I think we could with our coordination. I definitely think we could. We need to bring home another one of these.
It feels great.
Yeah.
You guys know this is the first title that Terps Esports has won.
Wait,
And by
really?
women.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Oh,
First time.
cool.
I like playing Valorant.
Have an excuse to play games.
True, that's true. That's good.
For me, I joined because, I've always wanted to be on a women's team, especially since I got to UMD, and me and Dusty had always tried to make teams work every semester, and this was the first time it actually did work and stuck, and the people who tried out were committed. So I guess I've always just wanted to be on a women's team to connect more to that community.
To make friends.
So I had that gap, without a team for a while, and then I saw the form, and I was like, I really want to try this. This sounds fun. And then, yeah, I play Valorant too much. First of all, I did not imagine me being IGL when I first started, because I am, outside of my Lilac team, I am known as the no-brain, only aim chamber in comp. So I did not imagine myself being IGL. But I think it's there were some difficulties in the beginning because no one I wasn't used to giving out comms. I was just very confused. But I think now it's just the amount of trust that my teammates give me when I give out comms and the amount of coordination that we have. I just love being IGLing because I trust that things will work out.
I think by the end of the season, now we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
Terp adventures take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform. Find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete, play, with wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the center for campus life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
Welcome back, guys. We're hopping straight into this draft, and we're seeing all the bands come out in the first round and all the picks come out. What do you think right now?
I mean, well, we're seeing some kind of similar bands come out on both sides. You know, that Viego band, Urgot, you know, Zaya, Oriana for RIT. Those are definitely like targeted bands, you know, trying to get, you know, that Neko, that Bread, you know, those kind of, you know, favorite picks, the Oriana and the Urgot, you know, taken out. We're seeing, you know, a Scion pick on the side of RIT. Scion currently incredibly strong.
Yeah, it's definitely a Omega pick in Worlds right now. I mean, I think it's like 90% win rate.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy, you know. I think Scion has had a resurgence in like everything, not just on the world stage with that insane win rate, but just because he's, you know, a favorite of, you know, this plucky European man. I don't know if you know him. His name is Baus FFS.
Baus? Boos?
Yeah, he plays like on this team, Los Ratones. I don't know if you know them.
I believe they just lost 3-0 to Carmine Corp today.
Well, we won't talk about that. We'll just talk about how like he just proxy farms and as Scion and is a nuisance. We're seeing a Poppy pick come out, possibly that support pick that we were talking about, that unusual. Currently 3-0 at Worlds. If, you know, that Poppy is going to be support and not like a top laner, you know, that Senna might be your AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, the Senna AD carry is very unusual in the current meta. I mean, it's not very strong damage-wise. It takes a long time to scale. Aurora's most likely going to be in the mid lane. There's that top lane. Aurora could go top lane. But in the top lane, I'm looking for a tank killer. I'm looking for something like Gwen. You know, it might be a little bit too much magic damage, but Gwen right here used to be a classic pick into Scion, into Aatrox, into anything tanky in the top lane. So, you know, Gwen's one of my favorite champions, and I'm looking forward to the doll coming out, maybe from the side of Bread. I don't know how much Gwen he plays, but, you know, RT's sticking to this really strong front to back composition with Xin Zhao, Scion, with that Jinx of the back lane being hyper carry, right? So they're looking forward to like not being able to like break away their front line with these tanks being able to just like absorb all that damage, having strong bruisers, strong burst damage that can just melt away at resistances like Gwen would be really strong. We see, you know, some jungle bans coming out, Victor ban coming out from RIT, just trying to limit Terps. Maybe they're thinking this Aurora pick's going top, but I feel like it's probably going to go mid, in my opinion. Poppy pick can go top, can go jungle, can go support, but as you said earlier, talking to Viet Mike, maybe you inspired him to pick that Poppy support, that work in progress Poppy.
I mean, if it's true, and that's Viet Mike on Poppy, and he does well, yes, I inspired him. If he did poorly, no, I had nothing to do with it. You know, we're seeing that Lulu Braum ban come out, so RIT is going to go Karma here. You know, Jinx Karma, I think, is, you know, pretty decent, I guess, lane-wise.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong lane pressure. Karma, you know, specializes in that strong poking, that useful util and shielding and healing. On the side of Terps, their last two picks, probably jungle and top, or mid lane. So that Silas is probably going mid lane and Aurora's going top. Jungle, what do you think about Jarvan?
You know, I think maybe a Jarvan 4 here might avoid the curse of Worlds right now, going 1-9. Jarvan 4 is, you know, he's a decent player. He's a different pick. He's a decent pick to play. But I think definitely, I think technical ability wise, for some reason we're seeing a none pick coming out here. Hopefully we get some information on what that's going to be. But hopefully, you know, we're not going into a 4v5 here.
Yeah, hopefully Pika has locked in something, or maybe he's going to oversee the Summoner's Rift. You know, a Vi pick comes out, apparently we're getting word of. I was thinking about a Vi pick, really strong. Me personally, I don't like Vi. I think most Vi players run it down whenever they play it, but Vi's a strong champion. I was thinking maybe Kiana or Pantheon could come out, but Vi is definitely a strong champion to, you know, slot into Terps team comp where they have this strong gank heavy. Hopefully, like, they get that early lead and be able to snowball their team fight. And right now we're getting another none coming in from RIT. Their mid laner is also going to be, you know, overseeing the Summer's Rift with Pika maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, surprising to see. You know, unfortunately, we don't get to see, you know, that visual of what they're going to be. We're just going to have to convey it on stream once we get word of that. And, you know, obviously we'll see it in game. But, you know, that suspense, personally, it kills me every time. But, you know, hopefully we get that sorted out soon enough. I mean, depending on, like, we're probably looking for, like, a mid laner here.
Definitely. With
that Xin Zhao in the jungle, Sai on top, Jinx, you know, your AD carry and Karma your support. I think, you know, I'm not sure what we would do, you know, to counter maybe that Silas in your lane.
I do wonder, okay, do you think it's a mage or a melee, you know, character for the side of RIT? Perhaps is it like to reinforce that front to back, or maybe they're gonna pick a Rise for more mobility, maybe Talia for that, you know, global ultimate. What do you think, guys? What's your prediction on this pick?
I think my prediction is probably gonna be maybe more on the side of that like mage character. I think Sion and, you know, on par like Xin Zhao are definitely capable of holding their own in that front. I don't think you really need, you know, another like melee champion or like someone that's very tanky like Galio as you last saw. I think the, you know, it's that load has been taken off their mid laner, so now they can choose, you know, possibly something like it was on the tip of my tongue. I don't even remember it anymore because I was yapping too much. But you know, like definitely gonna be a mage, I feel like.
Yeah, certainly there's like two ways to play that front to back. You can have 3 tanks or two tanks, as RIT are probably going to opt for, and a mage in the mid lane. Just being able to have that explosive damage in team fights is what most teams at Worlds are opting for. But in the LCK, a team comp that a front to back team comp that Gen G used to play was this 4 tank team composition with Cassante, Galio. Obviously, Galio can't be picked right now because of Fearless, but the Senna usually is a part of that front to back strong, tanky, scaling front to back composition. So it's a little unusual to see Terps pick the Senna and not surround it with as many tanks as you would think. That Aurora in the top lane is a counter to Sion, but it's not tanky. Vi is a strong ganker, strong damage, strong bruiser, but no more for damage than tankiness. And Silas is a burst AP, assassin mage, not known for his tankiness. So Poppy is the only one that seems to be holding the front line for Senna to be able to scale and be able to do her slow, inching forward damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a lot of weight to put on someone's shoulders to just be like, okay, you are the person that's going to help our, AD carry, scale in this game. I think, I don't even know, at a certain point, Senna's going to get that lifesteal, so maybe they're just like, okay, I just think that Poppy and that lifesteal is going to be enough to, to hold your own in that front line. It's just going to be surprising to see. It's definitely, based on how the Terps were playing in the last match, they were very disorganized. Your frontliners that you had there weren't even, some of them weren't even capable of engaging in that team fight as they were stuck in the top lane. I think definitely, it's a shift to that, tankiness is more in the bot lane rather than your top lane in case, you're stuck babysitting that Sion all game. Hopefully not. But, just to, be capable of holding your own.
Yeah, certainly, Ives. As you said, that Sion is like a parallel to Game 1. Like Dr. Mundo is a strong, tanky, side lane, tower-taking champion. So I really hope, I really pray that Bread is not stuck in jail again, because this Aurora is team fight oriented. That ultimate is strong. That damage is really strong. So I really hope Aurora is able to just say, hey, maybe we should just give a tower or two. Let's just fight. And
listen, I mean, if you can guarantee enough kills for the Terps, over the, maybe 1 tower, I think, maybe that's good enough. If you get those objectives, I think it's definitely, playing smart. Eventually, you can't be sitting there forever overseeing the Sion because your team is going to need you. If you can, guarantee objective, guarantee kills by entering that team fight, you can't just give up that tower. Because if Sion's just split pushing, but no one is there to, capitalize on that, that split push, you can't, do anything.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen in the second match for Terps and RIT. And let's hop into a short commercial break, Ives.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see you all soon.
Welcome back, Ives. So apparently that last pick on the side of RIT was Hui, like you predicted, a mage coming in for the side of RIT, trying to engage more damage into their composition.
Yeah, definitely. And Hui has, some of those skills that he has is just like has insane range. I think those are definitely like going to be able to, get poke in lane. And then, when you get into those team fights, possibly, engage some people that are on the back foot trying to, take less of a presence in that team fight as they get low on health. Helpful to snipe people.
Yeah, he's certainly like a swift, what's the saying? A Swiss army knife. Swiss army knife. He has 9 abilities and 1 ultimate. I mean, I think the most annoying of his abilities is that QW, if you don't know what that is. It's like basically a large lane slash wave of just orange pebbles, rubble, and it just burns you constantly. And he can seek out vision, he can shield his team. It's just a very versatile character, and I think it's a pretty strong pick coming in for RIT. But I am looking forward to Silas. I'm always a big Silas fan because hijacking those ultimates, the ceiling for those exciting explosive plays. I want to see Neko be able to break out of that shell that he was in the first game, where Azir was just falling behind slowly against Galio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement for the Terps here, and as they fall back onto, maybe some of the things that they're more comfortable with, hopefully we'll get to see that. I think the only person who is really, capable of, holding their own consistently throughout that match was Pika on that Nafiri. So hopefully, we see, as you were saying, more room to shine, not falling behind, especially, on that Silas, who is an incredibly, capable laner.
Yeah, as I said, my personal opinions aside on Vi, she's a strong ganking champion. She needs to be able to be proactive early on to get her teammates ahead. She needs to be active in those lanes. So I want to, Pika has been performing well. He needs to be that difference maker to catch his laners ahead. Maybe they're not having the best mechanical days, but it's his job as the jungler. It's a lot of pressure to get them up to speed, get them that gold advantage maybe through ganks to be able to even themselves out. Even on their worst days, they need to be better than RIT.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you were talking about despite your personal opinions on Vi, would you like to speak to that? What do you mean by that?
I mean, me personally, watching the LCK and Worlds, Vi runs it down chronically. It doesn't matter if you're Canyon, it doesn't matter if you're Lucid, it doesn't matter if you're Owner. You run it down on Vi. But hopefully Pika does not have LCK syndrome. Another big point as we get into this match, Viet Mike, he was caught out so many times, I think at least 3 times, trying to ward enemy control, enemy space in the river. So I want to see him be able to play more smartly around his own vision, not play as arrogantly or cocky maybe, trying to ward. I want him to, I guess, be a more stable foundation on this Poppy. Anyone's Legends Kyle, his Poppy won them their game against Gen G, being able to play that consistent role in a team fight, being able to keeper's verdict people out of a objectives team fight. I want to see that consistency come out from Viet Mike.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a more tanky character, so maybe you can be, caught out in, probably, half of the situations that they were in that first match. When you were talking about your personal opinions of Vi, I thought you were going to talk about, hit TV show Arcane. But,
she's certainly a strong-willed character in Arcane. So let's see if it translates over to, the Terps gaming. New Noxious show coming up while nothing's happening on the Summer's Rift. What do you think? Do you think Sion's going to make an appearance in the New Noxious show?
I hope not. Because, what is he going to do?
He's going to push side lanes. That's what he's going to do.
He's going to show up, and then he's going to ult out. He's just going to run away, and then, at the series finale, you find out that he's been pushing side lane this whole time, and that's why they win their big fight that they get into.
And it transitions into the next series. It's absolute cinema, absolute brilliant screenwriting, and we see on the minimap you can see Xin Zhao invaded Terps jungle where he took Raptors and Red Buff on the bottom jungle, and Poppy Viet Mike going in. Ignite comes out, First Blood coming out for Jinx, and double kill on the side of RIT for Bunnies. I mean, that was a strong engage. Pika going in, dashes, flash comes out from Spad. I mean, that was a strong engage, being able to burn flash for Hui. I mean, Terps is just going for that proactivity. Bread is certainly taking control of this lane like he was last game on Olaf. Hopefully he doesn't, fall behind on CS.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're just seeing this, kind of poke come out from mid lane. I think definitely what went wrong in that bot lane there was just that Jinx, got that kill, or that which activates her passive, just getting insane speed and, you know, attack speed.
And holy moly, Hui goes to 1 HP. I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's so many fights happening in this match. Flash comes out from Xin Zhao, Neko going back in, Conqueror's proc. That was half HP, and snipe from Hui. And it's a fight top lane. Brett gets a solo kill on Sion.
Yeah, but you know, while the Sion passive up is trying to just avoid him, and is luckily gonna get out with just barely their life remaining. So much has been happening in these just few seconds.
Vi goes and flashes, kill on Hui. I don't think we can get a sentence out without something happening, Ives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe as like all these lanes reset, we have a little bit of time before everyone gets, you know, whittled down enough where this insane engage happens. Unfortunately, the Terps are gonna cede that feat of warfare, but they're still even on kills with that Sion down, getting that Xin Zhao, that Hui. You know, luckily the Terps are still kind of like staying even on kills. You know, unfortunately, like not the same on lane in this bot lane here. Senna off to, you know, a staggering start in the bot lane here.
Yeah, and VMI just trying to get proactive with that Hex Class. He goes in, but just falls to Jinx. Jinx is now 3-0 in the bot lane. I mean, gold is certainly going to the right places for both teams. Senna is probably going to be in the backseat this game, not being able to be a tank killer. Aurora is really your only real damage against those tanks, and Jinx 3-0. All that gold is going to be a threat. She's just going to shred through anybody she sees, and when her passive comes up, she goes crazy. Everybody just dies to that fast attack speed. I mean, it's looking good for both sides, but I do have to say I'm favoring RIT right now because of their more stable, you know, team team fight composition. They're gonna be able to like play around each other. Hijack coming out from Neko, taking the Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao, and Smite comes out for a free dragon, and it's engaged in the bottom river. Via Mike caught out by Xin Zhao. I mean, everybody's just getting caught out. Silas goes in with Crescent Guard, but he's also getting caught out by Xin Zhao. Bunnies gets another kill, 4-0 now. And Pika was just a witness to double homicide, and he just escaped back into his bottom jungle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was probably the smart play, you know, trying to farm, but is getting caught out by this Xin Zhao. You know, Pika just came in, you know, took the dragon, and then got out at that point. And, you know, that's just, you know, it's what you're going to want to do in that situation. It was an overstep by the Terps to just take the fight into their jungle, especially when their team is kind of split on going in and backing off. You're going into that fight with the disadvantage. They tried to make the most of it, but unfortunately they just didn't get any kills there. They didn't get any like value out of it besides that dragon. And then, you know, as these kills start to ramp up, those objectives are going to get harder and harder to take, so you might even lose out on that dragon.
Yeah, and we see a lane swap with Lyrax matching Sion in the top lane with Aurora going in the bot. I mean, Sion goes out with his unstoppable onslaught, trying to engage something, but nothing comes to fruition. I mean, it's looking like Terps are getting proactive. Neko goes in on Hui. Nothing quite happens. They're trying to catch Bunnies before they can reach tower, but Bunnies is just so strong right now on that Jinx, being able to do so much damage. Via Mike still at level 3, Pika 1 HP now. I mean, 2 on 3, you still have to favorite RT's bot lane, and you see that Xin Zhao, he's just farming everything on the Vi's jungle. I mean, with nothing proactive being able to happen on the side of Terps, RT are just slowly bleeding them out with this gold advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the lane swap was a smart decision. This Senna is going to be behind for so long, so like saying, okay, you get to babysit the top laner is good, as this Aurora is already put on like such a great performance in this early game.
Yeah, and we see a bot lane dive going onto Bunny. Senna ult comes out. Karma's going to hopefully go down by the arms of Pika, but Bunny still escapes 4-0 from that dive. I mean, I was wondering if Pika was hovering too long on that play, where losing so many objectives to Xin going to get free grubs. I mean, this Xin is going to take over this game. Just being able to farm so much and being able to take so many objectives early is going to be devastating, especially when you have Scion. Those grubs are so important that, like, first plate goes down on, top tower. It's looking like RIT has a set game plan where they're able to cross map, where the Xin says, okay, I don't need to cover my bot lane. They're strong enough, and RIT are just trying to take macro control all over the map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're getting it back kind of when Vine got that pick onto the Karma there was, taking blue buff from Xin Zhao. But I think Xin Zhao already has, those objectives in the Terps jungle and then also those grubs. So I think, that trade is just kind of positive on the side of RIT. It's just like they're getting boxed out.
Yeah, I mean, right now Viet Mike has just been roaming across the map, still level 4 compared to Karma's level 5. I mean, has not stayed in lane for very long. It is questionable for the lane swap. I do have to wonder why Terps committed to this lane swap when your Aurora was winning top lane. Like, why would you weak side your stronger champion right now? Like, Lyrax doesn't have his support, so his passive for farming those souls aren't as active, and Via Mike getting caught out by a lot of abilities. Flashes come out, Xin Zhao goes in, 3 Talon Strike goes out on Poppy. Poppy goes down to Bunnies. Bunnies now 5-0.
Yeah, and I think, that call is just made to back off, that Jinx got the passive and they don't want to take that fight. Sion's going to use his ultimate ability here. You're going to have
comes
to
out from
burn that flash. Unfortunately, despite this lane swap, Senna is still struggling.
Yeah, I do wonder how useful this Senna is going to be going later into the game. It's a strong scaling champion, but if you lose late game, you're not going to be able to do anything. We see Jinx Rocket go up top, barely misses Senna, and a free Ocean Drake on the side of RIT. Right now, RIT are leading with a 2k gold lead, but 2k isn't that much. We just gotta see this more of the stability coming out on the side of Terps, being able to be decisive. They've been decisive with their actions, but they haven't been thorough, being able to coordinate their team fights, I would say.
Definitely, we're seeing trying to force some action on this way here. Both the cease and desist and the Sentinel are going to come out there just to secure that one kill.
Yeah, I mean, Pika's doing really great. I mean, this Vi champion I was doubting, but he's 3-0. He's definitely the bright spot on Terps. Let's see how much of this game can he take over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a similar story to last match. Pika really, was capable of holding their own. The rest of the team wasn't. But I think they're doing, at least a better part in trying to mitigate some of that. Making sure that maybe some people that need to be fed to get active are doing so. And the Scion is just gonna proxy farm as is usual, and he's just too tanky at this point for Senna to kind of punish him for it.
Yeah, right now it just seems like a level and laning disparity. I mean, Senna is up a level on Jinx right now, but that's because she's been solo laning in the top lane. But we're seeing some action in this bot lane. River Flash comes out from Pika, Crescent Guard comes out from Xin Zhao. Hui killing Pika, and Xin Zhao kills Viet Mike on Poppy. It was just a misplay in the bottom river again. Once again, they're getting caught out. They're not, fighting on their own territory. They're not, going on, they're starting the fight off of the wrong foot.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just kind of I guess, disappointing to see, you know. I expected the Terps to be able to, like, reorganize, like, reassess what they really wanted to do. Right now, we're just seeing Poppy come in to try and punish the Scion. I'm unsure. He still has his ultimate if he needs to get away, but, you know, two other members of RIT are coming up, making this a 3-on-3. Just gonna fight that.
Big Keeper's verdict comes out from via Mike, and Scion gets out barely alive. I was gonna say Scion was gonna go down. Flash comes out from Bread, but nothing happens in the lane between these two mages. I certainly thought that Scion was going to die. You know, a classic boss, you know, caught on side lane. But, you know, Xin Zhao and all of RIT fighting in Terps jungle. Season's Desist comes out from Pika, but Bunnies gets another kill. 6-0 now. Already with a full Kraken Slayer.
And I mean, the Terps can't really do anything when there's so many people in the jungle. Their timings are off. And if they group for that fight, it's just going to be a huge waste of time. They just are going to have to take things elsewhere. I think RIT recognize that Pika is, you know, a problem. You know, we're seeing a 3-on-1 here in this jungle on Xin Zhao.
And he gets out.
He just gets out. I mean, so much space is being taken on RIT, you know, so many things that should be the Terps, you know, even in their own jungle, it should be theirs to take, are just, you know, being stolen from them, and they're just getting out. Like, there's no punish coming out, because at this point, there's a 4K gold lead, and it's like, you know, you can't do anything.
Yeah, like you said, Ives, it feels like the Terps don't have any control of their own territory. They're getting drained of their own resources before they can, you know, fight for those neutral objectives, like Herald that just came up. I do have to wonder, like, what are Terps thinking right now? How are they going to turn this game around when, you know, RT are just playing their, you know, game to a perfect method? I mean, Xin Zhao goes in early. Lyra's getting low, very low. I mean, it seems like RT are just so comfortable with just moving on an engage freely.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Pika is just going to be sitting in that bush, hopefully trying to get someone out, but, you know, it's not really happening at this point. Silas is going to try and engage on the Hui. Nothing comes of either. It just seems like a lot of, you know, hoping and waiting.
TP comes in from Bread. His Between the Worlds comes out. Everybody low. Shut down on Jinx. Kill on Karma for Pika, and it's a 3K on the side of Terps. Shut down on Xin Zhao also. It was a good engage. You saw that TB. That TP come out from Bread. He got active. He W'd over the wall. Between the Worlds instantly. Like I said, sacrifice the tower for that engage, for that team fight, and that's exactly what Bread did. He got so proactive in that team fight, and it was brilliantly played by the side of Terps. They had to sacrifice bot tier 1, they had to sacrifice Feet of Warfare, but they also are able to convert on a free Inferno Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely what you need to get back into this fight. The Terps were down like 4K gold, and it's now been like mitigated to a 2K gold deficit. You know, they're, you know, playing smart. That was a smart play, you know. The disengage off of that Rift Herald to converge on that mid lane with a TP. Silas was coming down. It was great to see, and, you know, we're possibly going to get an engage on this Rift Herald again, but, you know, there are 4 people from RIT here. The Terps are, you know, shifted bot lane now. I think it's just going to be it's just a Rift Herald for RIT there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like, I don't know if Terps were just going to give that originally, or they didn't know that rush, you know, just right click on Rift Herald was happening. Because RIT's macro is impeccable right now, and I do have to say the secret component to such good macro is when they have so much vision control. But you know, Daigon on Scion is going to get caught out by 3 members of the Terps. He tried to unstoppable onslaught, but he's just getting shredded down. Cross map, we see Rift Arrow getting dropped in the mid lane. Nothing's quite happening right now. They're just brawling it out with the Scion, you know, after death, post-mortem passive. But I mean, RT are just saying, you take this, you're gonna kill our Scion, we take this. Fight coming out in the mid lane, Redemption comes out, Senna comes out, Crescent Guard, Xin Zhao, between the world, behind the backline, Sneko Nanchan gets Jinx, Poppy goes down by Hui, Karma goes down, it's looking favorable towards Terps, double kill for Silas. I don't know what happened there, Ives, but that was good for Terps.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I think what really worked out for them was taking that fight from two different directions. Like we saw that Aurora ultimate come out just to, you know, get behind RIT there in their jungle and just deal some damage, take people out, and then they had to shift to try and get under turret to make it, you know, have a chance of survival. But, you know, the Terps were already fighting there, so they were just people that were capable of finishing them off. I think, you know, it was great, and the Terps are leading on kills now. If they just, you know, they keep playing like that, they're more than capable of winning this match.
Yeah, I do have to say, RIT looks like they're losing the pep in their step. I mean, they Herald mid, they got mid tier 1, but they overplayed their hand. They went deeper trying to get mid tier 2. It seems like they're getting a little greedy, but right now the game's still even, and this Scion is just putting in work on the side lanes. Top tier 1 goes down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be possible that RIT assumed that Scion was going to be able to live for longer than he did, but he just got taken out, and it let the Terps kind of converge on them while they were trying to take that tier 1 in mid with that Rift Herald. And right now we're seeing, you know, a group for Otacon here just spawned in, some vision going out.
Important ultimates right now. Hijack still not used by Silas. Xin Zhao matching mid lane. Never mind, Silas has taken the Crescent Guard in mid lane. But important ultimates right here. Keeper's Verdict, you have to look out for that, being able to blast away important members of RIT for a free engage on Otacon. You know, Scion's joining in on the team fight, being that tanker, but they're sitting right on Vision Terps right now. Thankfully, they clear it. Poppy goes in. The Crescent Guard comes out from Neko. Sentinel comes out. Xin Zhao goes down swiftly. Via Mike goes down to Jinx. Jinx is ramped up right now, below HP. Neko goes in early. I mean, Scion just tanking everything up. All members of Terps are falling behind. They're trying to lure RIT in right now, but they're not falling for it. Hui's poking away. Pika getting caught. Flash having to be burned. I mean, it looks like an even trade. I mean, they certainly can't get Otacon for the side of RIT, but they can't really do anything on the side of Terps, like force Otacon. They just don't have that strength to fight that Jinx and that strong Scion tank.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the entirety of that fight, I don't think Sion's health fell below like 3/4. It was just up the whole time. The Terps don't have enough damage to deal with him, and you know, the way that they were positioned in that jungle, they would have had to get past him in order to engage with the people in the backline there. And you know, Sion is just, you know, a big beefy guy at this point. You know, like, the Terps couldn't do anything. We're unable to get a favorable outcome, and we're possibly seeing a re-engage on this dragon objective coming out.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Xin Zhao came back up, it enters into the fight. Pika going low, goes down to Hui. Neko in the middle of the fight. He goes down between the world, comes out from red. I mean, it's just chaos everywhere. Pika tries to go and double kill for Jinx. They instantly start Otacon. I don't think Terps can do much here. I was going to say, you know, somebody that's been having a quietly good game has been Neko, but you know, I was going to say Darcy would have 10 stacks. He was building this unusual build of Roa, and you know, it's not the typical Hextech Rocket Belt build. He was having a quiet game, but you know, everything seems to fall apart. The engage was sloppy. They weren't positioned on the same side. It's been looking good, but if they keep those repeated mistakes up, I see this second game falling into the laps of RIT again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely like something that was similar to the last game we saw was just Viet Mike getting caught out there. Just the first person to enter a fight there, and I mean, like, as Poppy, that's one of the things that you should do, but there was no one there on the side of Terps to kind of assist with that. So RIT was just capable of diving via Mike, just securing that early kill, and just, kind of eliminating what is essentially like half of your front line.
Yeah, we see a small engage, a small force in this mid river area. Hopefully nothing happens. In between the world comes out. Sentinel comes out, catching Jinx. Crescent Guard comes out from Silas. I don't see Jinx going down yet. She was 1 HP. Xin Zhao goes in. Viet Mike getting caught right now. Redemption popping out. I mean, RT are just forcing their hand right now. Xin Zhao in deep though. He surely should go down. Crescent Guard comes out. He's a 1-on-3 and he somehow lives. Triple kill for Hui. Neko survives with a life. He was trying to, skirmish in the backline, but that Hui was just launching missiles in the back and launching spells like, I don't know, Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was just, casting spells. What are you supposed to do? It's essentially like he just put a sniper scope on his magic wand and was just like, okay, let me just like do my thing from all the way back here. Sion got sent away by that keeper's verdict, but I guess like all of that backline pressure and Xin Zhao was just capable of holding his own and keeping the Terps occupied while Hui got 3 kills there.
Yeah, it's an interesting play coming out from Neko. He seems to be getting agitated. He copied the Sion ult and tried to engage, and Bread TP'd in between the worlds, comes out, and he hopefully is able to get out. But he's caught by Hui. This Hui is unstoppable right now, Ives. I mean, it looks like RT are just going to force their pressure. They're not even going to go for Baron. Unstoppable Onslaught goes in. Cease and desist. Senno comes out, but Bunnies gets a kill on Neko. Double kill for Bunnies. Viet Mike gets caught out again. It seems like Terps just can't do anything. Are they going to look for a end here, RIT? They're strong enough to do anything they want right now. They're up 7k gold, and it's just looking like Bunnies and Spade can just do anything they want this game. They're dealing so much damage. Xin Zhao engages in. Sion going to go to his passive, but it's looking like an easy end for RT right now. Pika goes down to the back line. Keeper Verdict comes out, and it's just an easy end for RIT. That was unexpected.
Yeah, it's just like, you had such like, a promising like comeback potential for the Terps there. But I think it was just like kind of squandered as those bad habits we saw in the first match come back into play. Like Viet Mike getting caught out there and just like giving Otacon. And that's unfortunate to see. Like it's just gonna be a quick 0-2 loss. You hate to see that. I think definitely the Terps kind of have to have this conversation about like the way they organize when they go into team fights, or the way that they organize when this laning phase ends, and people are kind of starting to shift around, see where they can possibly like take ground in the jungle or with objectives and stuff like that. I think that's really where they have incredible rooms of improvement, and like as a student here at the University of Maryland myself, I would just love to see them improve and get better.
Yeah, certainly, Ives. I mean, it was looking so good for the Terps early in the second match, but RT played with so much confidence, so much overwhelming like knowledge of the game that we see our Terps gather up here. They're doing post-game review, but right now in the standings, RT go to 6-0. I mean, in the battle of Goliaths versus Goliaths, RT stands strong as the victor, and right now our Terps fall to 4-2, tied with Butler University. So we gotta see next week, hopefully, or next time they're in the studio, they figure out these small kinks. Maybe they draft better somehow. Maybe the meta shifts. We'll still be in the Worlds patch, but maybe they have a different read on metas. Maybe some of our players will catch these new characters in this meta. Hopefully, like maybe the Scion comes into, like, these side laning top laners, Scion, Mundo, seem very strong. Maybe Brett picks it up for himself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be hopeful to see, and we have like a few more matches before the end of the regular season for the Terps. It'll be great to see how they change. But that's going to be it from us here in the studio tonight. Before we go, we want to thank our sponsors, Playwire, the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, and Recreation and Wellness here at the University of Maryland.
And thank you to the players for putting on a great game, and to our broadcasting team for making everything work. We'll see you next week for Terps Academy.